Hello all, welcome back to my channel. This is once again Sonia Musakutti, and in this video I will be continuing my last video's topic, that is oral mucous membrane. So in the second part I will be dealing with the structure of oral epithelium. As I told earlier, the oral epithelium is of two types. The keratinized epithelium, that is, which can be either orthokeratinized or parakeratinized, and the non-keratinized epithelium. So before going into the layers of epithelium, it is necessary to understand the term cytokeratin. Cytokeratins form the cytoskeleton of all the epithelial cells along with the microfilaments and microfibrils. The functions of cytokeratins include it provide mechanical linkages, it function as a stress-bearing structures within the epithelial cells, and it helps to maintain the cell shape. These cytokeratins are of two types. The type 1, which is the basic cytokeratins, and the type 2, which is acidic cytokeratins. This cytokeratin always occur in combination of type 1 with type 2, and in the absence of its pair, they are unstable. Now, we can go into the details of keratinized epithelium. The keratinized oral epithelium has keratinocytes which are arranged in 4 layers. The basal layer, the spinous layer, the granular layer, and the conified layer. They are also called as stratum basale, stratum spinosum, stratum granulosum, and stratum corneum. The cells at the basal layer have the ability to synthesize DNA and undergo mitosis. Thus, these cells gets differentiated and moves to the surface. This process is called as maturation. And the time taken for the cell to divide and pass through the entire epithelium is called as the turnover rate or turnover time. Once the cells reach the surface of the epithelium, they are shed off, and this process is called as desquamation. This whole process from the onset of determination of the cells of the basal layer is called as the keratinization. So, getting into each layer. First is the stratum basale. The basal layer is made up of single layer of cuboidal cells. The cells of basal layer can synthesize DNA and can undergo mitosis. These basal cells contain ribosomes and elements of rough surfaced endoplasmic reticulum. The basal cells are made of two populations. One population is serrated and heavily packed with tonofilaments. The other population is non-serrated and is composed of slowly dividing cells. The cells of the basal layer have specialized structure called as hemidesmosomes which abut on the basal lamina on the basal surface. These basal cells also contain tonofilaments and desmosomes. The desmosomes consist of two principal types of proteins, the transmembranous protein and the protein within the cells. The transmembranous proteins are desmogleins and desmocollins. The next layer in the keratinized epithelium is the stratum spinosum. As the name suggests, the spinous cell layer is made up of spinous cells which are irregularly polyhedral and are larger than the basal cells. The cells of the spinous layer are joined by intercellular bridges. The spiny appearance of the spinous layer is due to the shrinkage of cells during the tissue preparation, causing them to separate at points where desmosomes do not anchor them together. Going into the next layer, that is the stratum granulosum. This layer contains flatter and wider cells. These cells are larger than the spinous cells. This layer is so named because of the presence of basophilic keratohyalin granules. This layer also contains lamina granules, that is a small organelle in the upper spinous and granular cell layers. They are also called as keratinosome or Ortland body or membrane-coated granules. These membrane-coated granules discharge their contents into the intercellular spaces, forming intercellular lamellar material which contributes to the permeability barrier. This barrier forms at the junction of the granular and the conified cell layer. At the same time, during this process of differentiation, the inner unit of the cell membrane thickens, forming the conified cell envelope. Several proteins like involucrum are important for the formation of this structure. The next layer is the stratum corneum. This layer is made up of keratinized comae which are larger and flatter than the granular cells. The thickness of this layer varies at different sides of the oral cavity. There is absence of ribosomes and mitochondria in this layer. This layer is acidophilic and histologically amorphous. This layer is composed of densely packed filaments developed from tonofilaments altered and coated by basic protein of keratohyalin granules, filaggrin. The cross-linking of these filaments by disulfide bonds provides mechanical and chemical resistance to this layer. This layer do not synthesize protein. So that comes to an end of the layers of keratinized epithelium. Now we can go through the non-keratinized epithelium. The non-keratinized epithelia differ from the keratinizing epithelium primarily because they do not produce a cornified surface layer. So, unlike the keratinized epithelium, the non-keratinized epithelium contain only 3 cell layers: the stratum basale, the stratum intermedium, and the stratum superficiale. The basal cells in the stratum basale is similar to the keratinized epithelium. The stratum superficiale contains nucleated cells and they contain lesser number of tonofilaments and lack keratohyalin granules. So, before coming into an end of today's topic, it is necessary to understand the type of cells which are present in these layers of epithelium. These cells are keratinocytes, non-keratinocytes, melanocytes, and Langerhans cells. As the name suggests, keratinocytes are epithelial cells that synthesizes keratin and its characteristic intermediate filament protein is cytokeratin. The epithelium contains a smaller population of cells that do not possess cytokeratin filaments and hence they do not have the ability to keratinize. These group of cells are termed as non-keratinocytes. Unlike the keratinocytes, non-keratinocytes do not show the mitotic activity, undergo maturative changes or desquamate. They are not arranged in layers and do not form desmosomal attachment with adjacent keratinocytes. Melanocytes, Langerhans cells, and Merkel cells are the non-keratinocytes which are found in the oral epithelium. Inflammatory cells like lymphocytes are also considered as non-keratinocytes. Melanocytes are melanin-producing cells and they are found in the basal layer. Each melanocyte establishes contact with about 30 to 40 keratinocytes through their dendritic processes. The melanin produced by the melanocytes are transferred through their dendritic process to the adjacent basal cell keratinocytes, which store the pigment in the form of melanosomes. The melanin pigment, which are dispersed in the connective tissue, will be phagocytosed by the macrophages. These macrophages are termed as melanophages. The next type of non-keratinocyte is the Langerhans cell. The Langerhans cell is another clear cell or dendritic cell which is found in the upper layers of the skin and the mucosal epithelium. This cell has a convoluted nucleus and a characteristic rod-like granules in the cytoplasm which is termed as Verbeck granules. Langerhans cells are involved in the immune response. The next type of non-keratinocyte cell is the Merkel cells. The Merkel cells are found among the basal cells. This Merkel cell is a specialized neural pressure-sensitive receptor cell. It responds to touch sensation. They are commonly seen in the masticatory mucosa. The Merkel cells differ from other non-keratinocytes in that they are not dendritic. So that comes to an end of the second part of my topic, oral mucous membrane. So check out my next video for part 3 and I hope all of you found this video useful and interesting. Thank you.